I'm Catherine Ross, and I'm here live from the floor of the NYC. Jim Cramer is off this week. He's in San Francisco at the JPMorgan Healthcare Conference. So joining me is Jeff Marks, Senior Portfolio Analyst at Action Alerts Plus. Jeff, we got headlines this weekend about Iran protests, and on Wednesday we're supposed to get the signing between the U.S. and China on the Phase 1 trade deal. If I'm an investor looking to kind of parse through the noise, how should I be dividing my attention between these two?
Can I say neither? Is that punting the question? No, I mean, I only say that because there's just such far more important events going on this week. We have the banks kicking off earnings tomorrow. We have companies at really important conferences like the JPMorgan Healthcare. So I think we're a little bit, exhausted with the trade news, and I think far more important is going to be the fundamentals. Fundamentals are back from what we hear at the conferences, what we hear from earnings. So I think that's really going to be the next driver of stocks, unless all of these price target revisions that we're seeing by analysts and upgrades and just kind of like the back and forth news on trade. The fundamentals are back and much more important right now.
Now, you just mentioned the JPMorgan Healthcare Conference. What should investors expect to hear from that? Because I know that Jim's there.
Yeah, Jim's covering all week. He already had his interview with Bristol Myers CEO this morning. That stock looks good. We own that over at Action Alerts Plus. So I think, though, last year a lot of the conversation was about big deal making. We saw Bristol Myers Celgene, and there was also a lot of talk around some new immunotherapy drugs, cancer drugs. I think this year it's going to be a little bit different. I think this year it's really going to be more about how are these companies integrating these large deals. It's going to be about new drug readouts. And then as on Friday, as JP Morgan analyst Lisa Gill put it, it's really going to be about the year of the consumer and how some of these healthcare companies are going to drive costs lower, healthcare costs lower for the consumer. And our favorite play on this over at Action Alerts Plus is CVS Health as a way to play the consumer in healthcare. I mean, they're doing so much right now to drive costs lower, whether it be these new health hub store concept, these new formats that they plan to roll out across the country, and how that's expected to bring costs lower for their Aetna business. So CVS is the one we like. I know Jim's interviewing the Bankable CEO, Larry Merlot, later today on Mad Money. So really looking forward to hearing them speak in that interview and at the conference tomorrow.
Starting Tuesday, we've got bank earnings. We're going to hear from JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo specifically on Tuesday, and then the rest later on this week. If I'm a retail investor, what should I be paying attention to when the banks report?
Yeah, so with the banks, I think you want to pay attention to the net interest income. Interest income line. Really, that's just going to be the money that they make off of their interest-bearing assets compared to the money that they have to spend on interest-bearing liabilities. So it's basically the spread between what they make on loans versus what they pay out to deposits. You want to pay attention to that line.
What's the read-through for bank earnings to the rest of earnings season?
So yeah, with that, I think it's going to be a lot about loan growth, loan activity. You want to see some healthy loans out there that aren't, bad loans, bad being ones that are on the riskier side. You want to see good, healthy loans because that means that there's businesses out there and corporations out there with a lot of confidence, and that confidence is generating these loans, and which is really, that just spurs more activity in the economy.
Now, retail is a tough space, and yet Lululemon seems to be thriving. We saw them increase their guidance. They increased their guided EPS by 12 cents this morning, which is pretty incredible, and the stock's up 68% over the past year. What is keeping Lulu so strong in a space where we're seeing a lot of retailers cut guidance? Yeah,
that's a really good question. I think it really is their brand appeal. I'm a big fan of Lulu, both the stock and the clothing. On the weekends, I'll wear their clothes a lot if I'm working out, and that's really that's the heart. They invented the athleisure trend, so they play well so much to both females and males, and that really the males is where they're getting a lot of growth, whether it be from their shirts or the ABC pants that people now, millennials, love wearing to work. It's on the pricier side, so if they can afford it, of course. But they're just doing so well. I mean, we talked about this earlier. I think comps in the high, somewhere in the teens percent. It's just so strong compared to what some other retailers are doing. So really the question is when do you buy it? Because if you go across a 3-year chart, there's just very few opportunities to really buy it. So buyable dips. So just all the dips are buyable, but just like a pronounced dip of when to get in. So, but I still think, I mean, they're clearly one of the winners this holiday season. I think it can continue because that athleisure trend is so strong.
What's your favorite item of clothing from Lulu?
Yeah, so I have a pair of shirts. I have some shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, that I like to wear to work out. I got a pair of joggers too. I'm not a big sweatpants guy, but I must say I like the joggers, and I think it's just such a good holiday gift. Like when my parents asked me what I wanted this year for the holidays, I was just like, just get me a Lulu gift card and I'll find something to buy. And I know some other people too who requested that as well from their families and friends as well. So they're super comfortable. They fit well. I like it.
That's fair. I mean, when I ask my friends what they like about Lulu, everyone says sweatpants. So that's like their big thing. Yeah, it's the leggings and then it's the sweatpants. Mm-hmm. All right, Jeff, thank you so much. Fair. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, we're now heading over to our Action Alerts Plus daily rundown show over on actionalertsplus.com. Check us out there. I'm Catherine Ross, and we'll see you tomorrow.